I really hope you all get a sense of what history you're right in the middle of. Uh, for the southern part of Angelina County, this place dominated history for many years. Mill first began here, probably the first one was 1867, and then in the early 1900s, Carter and Kelly's family built a mill here, a larger mill, and they they probably had the largest mill in the county over Diboll or Kelty's or any other place until 1935 when the sawmill burned. And so we had like 1,600 people living here. They had 1,600 people. And when you think about it, this was the second largest town in the entire county next to Lufkin. And very few people know where this is. Very few people have been here. We moved here in 1941, and my mother and dad had come in 1929 to teach school. And when they stayed on and then were able to buy the place up after the mill burned, and then we farmed primarily for the rest of that time. And Judy and my mother they ruled the house, and so then later on, after my mom and dad died, I was able to acquire the place, the house and all, and Judy and Rodney live right up there on the hill, and that was the location of the Bonner Hotel. As I was saying to some while ago, it's difficult to imagine what all was out here. I mean, just probably less than 100 yards out there was the general office, the commissary, the picture show, the drugstore, the coffin house, the country club, the jail. All of these things were just right there, and there were houses as far as you could see around here. So it was a real industrial complex. Railroad came in here, the what they called the Shove-Harden Grunt Railroad. That was the Shreveport, Houston, and Gulf Railroad. And that was the main way of getting in and out of this area. They obviously took the logs out of the mill, out of the woods to the mill, and then they hauled the finished product out. And obviously some things had to be brought in here. This house was actually built by the mill manager, whose name was W.M. Gibbs, and his grandson is James Gibbs, many of you know, in Lufkin. They Mr. Gibbs obviously had the benefit of great carpenters and workmen and picking of all the lumber. Most of it was longleaf pine at that time. The floors are all longleaf pine, quarter sawn, turned on the edge, so it'd be very hard. And if you can see what, on the inside behind the walls, what those are like, it's a substantial house. It's an American Foursquare designed house. Don't know who the architect was. They built this house originally as a single-story house in 1905, and then it was remodeled in 1927 as a two-story house, and with this particular design to it. It's a lot of craftsman influence added to this house before Jeannie came along. But anyway, it's kind of what it is, and so it's just sat out here by itself for all these years, and it never really meant a terrible lot to us other than a place to live. And when we lived here, it was sparse, sparsely decorated, I would say, and we didn't have electricity for the first 10 years that we lived here, from 41 to 1950, 51. And we had all the electrical fixtures, but no electricity, because the mill had generated all the electricity. So finally, REA came in about that time and brought electricity all the way down here. Most people obviously don't come down here very often because it's not directly on the path. And when we decided to make a bed and breakfast out of it, it certainly has historical significance in a community that has historical significance. And so we had originally had sold this place to Jeannie and my son together. She always says my son. Our son Derek, who many of you know, he and his wife and children lived here for about almost 10 years, and then decided it was a little too far to travel, and so they decided to move back to town. So now all of a sudden we've got a house back here, and Judy and Rodney needed something to do. I'm kidding, but you couldn't find a better hostess and host than Judy and Rodney, nor a better cook. And so they were the perfect couple to take this over and to make it a place for people to come. And it's really kind of amazing. And I say this, and I know I'm talking too long, Selena, but we've really just only been open about a month, really. After we got our website finished and everything. But some of the people that have come down here obviously have to come because this is where they want to go, and not because they're driving by and see it and say, I'd like to stay there. Not too many of those. We have people coming from Oregon this Saturday night. We have somebody coming tomorrow night, Lee, from
Texas Parks and Wildlife, managing editor. Be here tomorrow night.
Be here tomorrow night. But I think about a couple that we had that came from, I think, down close to Galveston somewhere a couple weeks ago, and they want to know what is there to do? Well, I mean, you can obviously walk over and look at the ruins, and you can walk up by Pumpkin Hill and look at stuff over there, go down the mill pond, fish, or whatever. But most people want a little bit more activity than that, and so we obviously tell them, go to Lufkin. And so this couple did just that, and they took Saturday, spent Friday night, went into Lufkin on Saturday night. They were surprised it wasn't that far, and some of the comments that they wrote, was the things that they were just amazed at the zoo. They went to 2 antique shops, went to the movie, they
went to the Forestry Museum.
Forestry Museum. They did all that in a day's time. And they just were so impressed because they had never really been to Lufkin. They've driven through it. And so to have all those kind of things that close, it was encouraging to us that people would think, that wasn't anything at all. Go do that. And you can go to Huntington to the Dean's Meat Market if you'd like. But anyway, I'm really glad y'all are here, and I'm glad that we have opportunity to offer this place to the world, I guess. And thank you for coming, Judge. Appreciate you being here. Marva Beck. I hope all of you met Marva. It's going to now be in our state representative district since Leon. You're not in Leon County. You are in Leon. You're in Leon County, and Madison County now added to our district. James is going to be moving out. James White would come down here today. This is his district right now. And certainly appreciate you being here, and not that any of the rest of you are any less important, but thank you for being here. So, our very own commissioner. By the way, this road right. No, I did him. Don't feel bad. I was introducing all of our Republican group the other day, and of all people to forget, I forgot our son Derek. They haven't let me forget that. But anyway, Scott does have this whole area for his commissioner's precinct. So anyway, thank you for coming. What do we need to do now, Selena?
We need to cut a ribbon.
Let's do it. Let's start between these two trees.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. Very good. Welcome.